8 plus the square root of x plus 1 equals 2. And we need to isolate. So when we isolate, we're going to subtract 8. What we are actually isolating is the square root. So we've got the square root of x plus 1 equals negative 6. And once we get the square root isolated, what we have to do is we have to square both sides. And square rooting and squaring cancel each other out. So we have x plus 1 equals 36. And now we can solve. Well, subtract 1 from both sides. We get x equals 35. Well, now that we know that x equals 35, we need to go back into our original equation. And we're going to type it in. And what it says 8 plus the square root of 35 plus 1. Just checking here. And we want it to equal 2. But it equals 14. So we don't want it to equal 14. We don't want our equation to equal 14. And because it does equal 14, this is another situation where we have an extraneous solution. When we go back and check, the answer does not work. Number 10, isolate. Subtract 6 on both sides. And we get 3 times the square root of 2x minus 1 equals 9. Well, it's 3 times the square root. We're going to divide both sides by 3. And then what we've got is we've got the square root of 2x minus 1 equals 3. Now we have the square root isolated. Once we get the square root isolated, we are going to square both sides. So when we square both sides, we've got 2x minus 1, because square rooting and squaring cancel each other out, equals 9. And then we're going to solve. We're going to add 1 to both sides. We get 2x equals 10. And divide both sides by 2. So x equals 5. Again, it looks like a perfectly good solution. It may be, it might not be. We're going to go back into our calculator and we're going to check it. So it's going to be 3 times the square root of 2 times 5 minus 1. Arrow out of the square root part plus 6. And when we press enter, we want it to equal 15, which is what's on the other side of the equation. And sure enough, it is. And because it is, 5 is a solution to our problem. As we finish our practice here, interesting problem to finish. We'll start with isolating our square root by subtracting x from both sides. And we get x squared minus 8 equals 4 minus x. Square root's isolated. Now we're going to square both sides. But remember, squaring both sides means that squaring means multiplying by itself. So as we look at this, on this left side, square rooting, squaring, that cancels each other out. I'm starting to get redundant here. I'm not trying to. 4 minus x squared does not mean 16 plus x squared or 16 minus x squared. It means 4 minus x times 4 plus x. And we either need to double distribute or FOIL, whatever your Algebra 1 teacher called it. So we end up with x squared minus 8 equals 16 plus 4x minus 4x. And it might be nice if I wrote the problem right. Let me go back and fix that. I'm so sorry. But my mistake is that this is a minus. Try that again. 4 minus x squared means 4 minus x times 4 minus x. So 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times negative x is negative 4x. Negative x times 4 is negative 4 times x. And negative x times negative x is positive x squared. And we can combine some like terms over here on the right side. We've got x squared minus 8 equals 16 minus 8x plus x squared. So far it's been fairly complicated, but watch out what happens here when I start by moving the x squared over to the left side because I prefer to have my letter on the left. Well, when we move the x squared over, it doesn't matter if you move it to the left or you move it to the right, the x squareds are going to cancel out. So now let's move our 16 over. And when we move our 16 over, I'm going to move that over here, which is a contradiction because, again, I like to have my letter on the left. But we end up with negative 24 equals negative 8x. Solve it the way your Algebra 1 teacher taught you. To solve it, we're going to divide both sides by negative 8. And when we do divide both sides by negative 8, we get x equals 3. Now we got x equals 3. We didn't even have to factor on this one, even though there was an x squared in it. But lastly, what we need to check is this an extraneous solution? So when we go back into our calculator here, we're going to type in 3 plus the square root of 3 squared minus 8. When we press enter, we want it to show up 4. And it does. So this is a solution to our problem.